My name is Suyuan. I am a married beautiful woman. I was born with a charismatic color. Both looks and body are first class. As long as in public, those men's eyes will not be able to get down from my body. But even so, I also have my own hidden secrets. After many years of marriage, in addition to that growing desire, it seems difficult to conceive, even if it is day-to-day and husband Zhang Tao and the linger together, still cannot have a child of their own. As the days get longer and longer, Zhang Tao in that respect is also increasingly perfunctory. In addition to the days of the month he daily food, the rest of the time is either on a business trip or an excuse to socialize. In order to keep this marriage with Zhang Tao, I still decided to go to the hospital to do a comprehensive examination. But went to the hospital to do a checkup. The doctor not only said I'm not sick but also suggested that I get along well with my husband in the next few days. Maybe it can really hit the nail on the head. Take the test sheet. I took the subway home as usual, but I did not expect the return trip. Unusually large number of people. A walk up was a large number of people directly into the corner. With the influx of people, I was a little uncomfortable to move 2 steps toward the inside. He kept moving closer to me as the subway swung back and forth. Maybe it's been too long since I've been so aroused. Compared to my husband's boring foreplay, this kind of heart-racing temptation amplifies the emptiness inside me. However, just as the man's palm passed through my waist to my neckline, the subway suddenly stopped and the crowd began to surge. Excuse me, the sudden voice pulled my sanity back. I subconsciously pushed the man out of the way, and after getting off the subway, that feeling of both fulfillment continued to turn over inside. When I returned home, Zhang Tao was reading information in the study. Wife, you are back. Zhang Tao said as if he was intentionally avoiding me. You go rest for a while, after I'm done, I'll come to accompany you. I do not die, no, I want you to accompany me now. Wife, you let me finish being busy first. Zhang Tao said as he pushed me away. This push to my inner flame extinguished half, immediately some dissatisfaction. What attitude you will, in the end still want children. I'm not and you said I'm working, when good will accompany you, you have to take advantage of now. Zhang Tao said and frowned at me. But soon, he changed his attitude from just now and softened towards me. All right, don't be angry, it's not pretty with a pout. Don't you have to be busy? And come and touch me for what? I pretended to be upset and was about to break away from his arms. But my own body was very honest, thinking of the scene on the subway just now, I could hardly hold myself against Zhang Tao. Although Zhang Tao in that aspect of the recent some perfunctory, but he always fitness body is not a pose, plus many years of husband and wife he knows very clearly can provoke my point. This time Zhang Tao seems to return to the pre-marriage, he is extremely possessive of me. You. Why are you so brave today? I said snuggling into his arms. It's not can't fail you well, honestly, I haven't asked you how you went to check today. I'm fine, the doctor even said that these 2 days are the best time, so maybe we'll be able to have our own baby. I said happily squinting my eyes towards him. Zhang Tao looked at me for a moment, then pinched my face. That would be great, but you also know that the hospital group of people are not necessarily particularly reliable. I happen to have a matter to discuss with you. What is it? You tell me. I said as I absently broke away from his arms. Zhang Tao stammered, I'll have a distant cousin uncle, I've heard that he specializes in treating this, so I want to ask him to come to the house for a few days, and in the meantime, give us a tune-up. Cousin uncle? I turned my head, how old? Are the medical skills reliable? Absolutely reliable. Zhang Tao said as he directly swept me into his arms, my wife is so beautiful, as long as we cooperate with him, the child we give birth to will definitely be even more beautiful. Hearing Zhang Tao's words, I became a flower in my heart, and immediately acquiesced towards him. That's fine, but don't stay for too long, if there's no effect for half a month, he'll have to leave. Okay, no problem. Thank you wife for nodding. Zhang Tao said unusually excitedly embraced me and hugged and kissed me. The next day, Zhang Tao and I just got up, and a noisy doorbell rang outside the door. Who is it, so early? I said as I pulled on my nightgown. The moment I opened the door, my whole person directly froze in place. The man in front of me was the man I was on the subway yesterday. His eyebrows were full of heroic energy, and once again, I was able to observe him up close, especially seeing his familiar biceps. Before I could say anything, he approached me and said, "You're the nephew-in-law, right? Nice to see you again. I am Xiaoran, Zhang Tao's distant cousin-uncle." "Cousin? Uncle?" I said, muttering with a red face, not daring to look up. This is really embarrassing. The words just fell. Zhang Tao walked out. He was very polite to go forward and pulled Xiaoran's hand. "Cousin-uncle, you can come, this. Our situation on the phone also communicated with you. You see when to start to help us. Conditioning a bit. This is good to say. I can start immediately, or I will give you guys a pulse first," Xiaoran said, putting down the small suitcase in his hand. Seeing this, Zhang Tao said with a smile on his face, okay, I'll put your things in your bedroom first, and when we're ready, we'll start." As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Tao winked at me, signaling me to take Xiaoran's things into the room and help organize them. I immediately pushed his small suitcase into the bedroom like I was running away, and after taking out a new duvet cover, I began to work on arranging it for him. However, just as I leaned over to organize the sheets, I turned my head and faced Xiaoran's eyes. He moved closer to my ear, and his nimble fingers lifted up the bottom of my skirt a little bit. Just when I didn't know how to respond, Zhang Tao's voice came in. "Cousin-uncle, take a look at the place I set up. Does it meet your standards?" Zhang Tao said and pointed to the study not far away. Xiaoran looked at me playfully and smiled. "There's definitely no problem with what you've laid out. I'll come over with my nephew-in-law. Don't mess around," I said, frowning towards Xiaoran. Hearing my words, Xiaoran said softly, "I came here to cure you guys. How could I mess around? If you don't hurry up and get out, it won't be my fault if Xiao Tao finds out." In order for Xiaoran to start early and finish early, I put down the pillow in my hand and walked out of the room. After entering the study, the scene in front of me made my eyes widen. I don't know when Zhang Tao bought the recliner, saying it's a recliner but resembling the facility chairs for examination in the hospital. Seeing me froze, Xiaoran pointed to the desk and said, "You two come over first. I'll take your pulse and then see how to do the examination." "Take your pulse? Doing an examination?" I said and pulled Zhang Tao's arm. "Are you sure he can do it?" Zhang Tao patted my hand and said, "That's natural. You hurry up and let cousin-uncle take your pulse." "Ah!" I was afraid that Xiaoran would treat me like he just did, so I kept shrinking behind Zhang Tao. Zhang Tao saw this and sat directly in front, then stretched out his hand. "She's still a bit shy. Cousin-uncle, you give me a look first." "Okay," Xiaoran said in a serious manner and started to take her pulse. His gaze was like a torch. It was a far cry from the provocative look he had just given, and soon Xiaoran gave Zhang Tao a conclusion. He smiled at Zhang Tao and said, "Xiao Tao, you just have a high deficiency fire. There's no big problem. Turn around and I'll grab you a prescription. Take it for a few days and you'll get better. Let me take a look at my nephew's daughter-in-law's situation. Come, wife, let cousin-uncle give us a look," Zhang Tao said as he pulled me over. Seeing that Xiaoran didn't say anything for half a day, Zhang Tao asked towards him, "Cousin-uncle, what's Wenwen's condition? Is there something wrong with her?" "That's not true. The inner is very strong, especially in that area, which is considered a good thing," but Xiaoran said and paused. "I still need to check her there to see if there's any problem." As he spoke, Xiaoran pointed to the chair diagonally across from me. "Nephew-in-law, lie down on it." "I lie there," I said and looked at Zhang Tao with a red face. "Hubby, this is not good." I thought Zhang Tao would help me politely refuse, but I didn't expect him to have pushed me and press me on the chair. "Wife, what's wrong with this? Anyway, cousin-uncle is a doctor, let him take a look and it's okay, plus I'm still here. What are you afraid of?" "Yes, nephew-in-law, what are you afraid of?" Xiaoran said, trailing off at home. I was afraid that he would say what happened on the subway. Then I said, "Okay, then please trouble cousin-uncle to move faster. I still have things to do in a while." "Then you lie down properly," Xiaoran said as he took out a pair of medical gloves, then approached me. "Niece-in-law, don't move," Xiaoran said, turning his head towards Zhang Tao. "Do you want to cooperate? Help me press down on her waist." "What? One's husband is going to help another man control himself." When, don't move," Zhang Tao said. "All right, nephew-in-law, you're not bad, there's no problem like a little conditioning. Xiaoran said, taking off his gloves. Zhang Tao was filled with joy as he listened. It's good that it's okay, when the time comes, I'll trouble cousin uncle, stay here at ease for the next few days. I took advantage of Zhang Tao letting go and hurriedly got up and ran straight back to my room. It's really crazy. I cursed myself in a small voice. The moment I poked my head out of the quilt, the door was opened, and Zhang Tao approached towards me, lifting the quilt off my face with one hand. Wife, now you can rest assured, both of us are fine, as long as we listen to our cousin uncle's words and condition ourselves for a period of time, we will definitely be able to get what we want. Zhang Tao said and touched my face. I glared at him. You're still saying it, just now. You just looked at him like that. I don't even care, why are you still so shy? Zhang Tao said and directly wrapped his arms around me. Well, the inspection is over anyway. I pulled Zhang Tao's hand and asked him in a serious manner, why do you trust this cousin uncle of yours so much? Aren't you afraid that he'll cure us both? Speaking of which, I was just about to talk to you about this. Zhang Tao said as he got up and closed the door gently. Immediately after he said things that make me extremely surprised, the original Xiaoran itself also had problems. He got addicted to the disease, that is, all the time thinking about doing that. After he researched a pharmacy, half a year later slowly recovered. And this thing Zhang Tao's hometown people know, so when Zhang Tao heard that Xiaoran can help us have their own children, he is also convinced. But was Xiaoran really all healed? He was so eager that day on the subway, exactly like a male lion ready to be unleashed. But not to mention that if we really compare, Zhang Tao would not necessarily be better than Xiaoran. Seeing that I was a bit dazed, Zhang Tao suddenly came to my front. Wife, actually I still have something I want to discuss with you. Zhang Tao said and moved towards me. I frowned at him. A long stay is impossible, don't even think about it. It's not a long stay, it's like this, cousin uncle just told me that it seems like he's starting to have a bit of a relapse in that area again, and in order to treat both of us, I'm afraid of delaying him. Zhang Tao said and gently pulled me into his arms. I was wondering if we could help him. I asked uncertainly, how to help? I mean, he gives us the cure, you help him release it. Anyway, Zhang Tao said as his voice diminished, I'm not at home these days, you're so eager in that area that you'll also want it, so why don't you just help your cousin's uncle, wouldn't it be the best of both worlds? Zhang Tao's words made me freeze, like my inner evil was being peeked into. Immediately I was so anxious that my face turned red. You. What are you babbling about? It's outrageous. I said, hammering in front of his body. Zhang Tao playfully grabbed my wrist. Wife, you for our future, just help, okay, anyway, no matter how to release, I think you must have a way. Go go go. Sighed, I'm not, to go you go. I said and directly pushed Zhang Tao away, in fact, inwardly had already begun to float. After nightfall, I slept soundly. Zhang Tao's cell phone suddenly rang, he pressed down and seemed to return a message, and then lying beside my ear, wife, there is business, go out for a while, you then sleep. Good. I was too lazy to open my eyes, and seemed to look very sleepy after drinking Xiaoran's herbal medicine. As soon as the words were said, Zhang Tao's footsteps drifted away. I don't know how long it took, but I suddenly felt a huge figure pressing closer towards me. Back? I thought it was Zhang Tao. At that moment, I opened my eyes, and in the darkness, I saw the corners of Xiaoran's mouth rise as he rushed towards me. What are you doing, Xiaoran? Why don't you even shout at your cousin uncle? Xiaoran spoke. Shout, I should have told you. The door to the room was suddenly kicked straight open, and Zhang Tao's voice instantly brought me to my senses. Siyuan, what are you doing? Zhang Tao said as he came up and slapped me. I've only been out for such a short while, and you've actually seduced the elders. I covered my face and cried towards Zhang Tao, it's not me, husband, it's Xiaoran. No, isn't it you? You said you want me to get Xiaoran. You are still talking nonsense. Before my mom said you can't marry, it's true that the hen that doesn't lay eggs still seduces men everywhere. Zhang Tao said, more and more angry, directly dragged me down. At this time, Xiaoran frowned. Xiao Tao, this is also my fault, heard my nephew-in-law call me, came in, did not expect her. Forget it, if you really cannot tolerate it, divorce on the line, unnecessarily big fight. Xiaoran, you asshole. I said, getting up and going to pull Xiaoran. It's clearly you. Snapped. With a crunching sound, my face burned hot and Zhang Tao's eyes were scarlet as he looked at me as if he was looking at a stranger. Now get the hell out of here and get a divorce. Zhang Tao said and pushed me out of the house with force. I hold the jacket, still want to explain, but Zhang Tao is still indifferent, after I had to call my girlfriend Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui heard hang up the phone, immediately came to the door of the neighborhood to pick me up, to her home. She looked a little serious towards me. When things have come to this point, some words I'll say directly to you. Little Snow, you say. I wiped my tears and looked at Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui took a deep breath, then took out her cell phone and said, actually, a month ago, I once saw Zhang Tao and this woman together. At that time, I thought they were clients, and only after I saw them go into the hotel did I realize that things weren't that simple. Then why didn't you tell me? I said as I grabbed her cell phone. Only to see the cell phone's image of Zhang Tao wrapping his arms around the woman's waist, smiling very brightly. The woman burrowed into his arms, one hand touching on her slightly bulging stomach. Zhao Shui pulled my hand indignantly, said, I went straight up that day. Zhang Tao prayed to me, said he would break off relations with this woman, but also said he would be good to you. I should not have listened to him. I'm going to kill this man, Xia, you know. He teamed up with other people to set me up. I said, bawling. At that moment, those sweet words that Zhang Tao used to say to me in my mind were like knives gouging my heart. Zhao Shui saw this and put her arms around me. Wen, don't be impulsive. If you just go to him like this, after a big fight you still have nothing. After all, you have real leverage in his hands. Then what do I do? I said, looking helplessly at Zhao Shui. Zhao Shui gently patted my back. Don't worry, I won't let that bitch man bully you, but you have to listen to me, be calm. Okay, I'll listen to you. I said, trying to calm myself down. Seeing that I wasn't that agitated, Zhao Shui spoke her advice. As a lawyer, she knew the importance of forensics. She told me to pretend to be very disheveled these days, so that Zhang Tao would lose his guard, and as long as he relaxed, he would definitely reveal his foxtail. As for Xiaoran, Zhao Shui gave me the advice is to directly take the money to smash. After all, this cousin-uncle, true or false in this is not yet known. I have to say that Zhao Shui is very calm and very professional ideas. I think I have no reason to reject her method, just that all of this in the operation of the time, for me is a great psychological harm. In the days that followed, I pretended to be in pain on the one hand and constantly called Zhang Tao to apologize, and on the other hand, I looked for a private detective to follow Zhang Tao. Immediately after the checking out the woman's details, and then looked for a friend in the hospital, left the woman's file, left part of the sampling when she did a maternity test. After getting all the evidence, there is only Xiaoran left. In fact, also at this moment I realized that Xiaoran is just a dog under Zhang Tao. According to Zhao Shui's method, I met with Xiaoran, of course, not only to buy him with money, and took out the evidence of his entanglement with me, and counter-threatened him. For a person who was money as life, ruining his future is worse than letting him die. Ready, I and Zhang Tao about the court meeting. Zhang Tao see me still chest. His eyes did not have the slightest bit of guilt. Just when I took out all the reverse evidence, coupled with Zhao Shui's profession, Zhang Tao was instantly dumbfounded, and his defense attorney was similarly caught off guard. After that, the court made a correct division of my and Zhang Tao's property and got less than 10% of the assets because Zhang Tao's committed bigamy and had other children within the marriage. Finally, I took the money and went far away to start my new life.